Hi, everyone. Well, I have the distinct honor and privilege to be here with Radhika Kulkarni, the 2022 INFORMS President. Here we are in Indianapolis. Thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedule to be with me.
Thank you, Brad. It's my pleasure to be here at the conference and to speak with you.
So, there's a lot going on, a lot of events. When you think about for yourself, what are some of the must do, can't miss events that you like to attend?
At these conferences, I always like to attend the plenaries and the keynotes for sure because the organizing committee takes a lot of trouble to get some excellent speakers for those. And I think that's always interesting and you learn a lot. I try to get as many technical sessions as possible. Unfortunately, this year I haven't been able to go to too many of those. But for someone who's attending the conference for the first time or some junior members, I think it's a great opportunity to learn. Then the networking events are very, very important because I think that's where you get to meet new people, new friends, and over time you just grow your circle of friends. And I think they become your companions, your mentors, and in many ways they help you throughout your career. So I think that's one of the great benefits of coming to a conference like this.
So this annual meeting is one of the biggest in a while, with over 6,000 attendees, which is amazing. So, how has the energy been for you? What's it feel like for you to experience this?
Oh my God, it's been fantastic. And like we all know, we were very anxious as to what the response would be and whether people would be able to travel, whether they would be able to come. And this has been just amazing beyond expectations to have more than 6,000 people attending this conference is I would say beyond my wildest dreams. It's almost we're at almost the pre-pandemic height, which is amazing to me, and that is energizing to everyone. And everyone I've talked to who just stopped me in the hall, you ask them and you can see the excitement just to be with people, to be with everybody, and to be able to speak with so many friends and catch up with them. So it's been wonderful and totally exhilarating and energizing.
You're absolutely right. It's almost electric. You can feel it in the air.
Absolutely. It's electrifying.
Very much so. So, I've had the privilege of speaking with the 2023 President-elect Laura Albert and Julie Swan as well. I wanted to get your thoughts on you know if, for females going into OR analytics. What does this represent for them? What advice do you have for someone joining the field?
So, this to me, when I saw that, next year, if you think about it, we've got three presidents: the past president, which will be me, the president in 2023, Laura, and Julie, the president-elect for next year. We're all female, and I said, "Oh my God, has that ever happened?" And no, we've had a run of two female presidents through the informs. I was just looking through the presidential gallery, and I think out of a 30 total of 30, we've had 11 women, which is not a bad ratio.
Mhm.
Come to think of it, so it is great that women can aspire to get to this position and lead a group that is so uh, wonderful and innovative and just top of class. So it gives hope that we can find opportunities for young girls, and for them I think just seeing women in these roles, seeing us be able to stand our own and even forge ahead in roles like these is something that is wonderful because they can see themselves in the future. So being a role model is something that's very valuable for them. So it's exciting. I'm excited about it.
Well, you are a role model. So
No,
no, I
thank
mean
you.
everyone is so been thrilled with you, and last night hearing you and watching you on some of the stories that were going on and your own experiences at the awards ceremony. So I'd love to hear more about your career journey. So if you could share with those that maybe don't know you a
Oh
bit more about
yeah,
your story.
yeah. I'd be glad to share that. I got my PhD. Oh my God, several years ago in 1981, to be precise. I came to the U.S. from India in '77 to do a PhD in math. And in my first semester, I had taken a course in linear programming from Michael Todd at Cornell. And I really liked the course. And to me, it seemed like it was math with a purpose. So, it seemed to uh, give you a framework that you could lay all your problems typically in decision problems. How do you frame it? And to me, it seemed to make so much sense. So I then switched to operations research. And then when I finished my PhD, I wanted to go into academia. I wanted to become a faculty member. But while I was doing my PhD, I met my husband and got married to him. And he got a tenure track position at UNC Chapel Hill. He graduated a year before I did. And so I followed him. And so, unfortunately, there was no tenure track position in the geographic area. We were both in the same area discipline. So I taught for 2 years as a visiting faculty member, and then I got a job at SAS Institute. And at that time, it was, what was available out of that was the only feasible option. So I picked it. It was feasible, so I took it. And then over time, I grew. I was an individual contributor. Then I became the director of the OR group, and then I saw that optimization could play a big role in all the other analytical products that were being developed. So I spearheaded the creation of an advanced analytics division. I said that we need to have one leader in charge of all the statistics, the optimization, data mining, forecasting, and AI, machine learning, all these fields, because then we can have a cohesive way of developing the software product, and each of the tools can help the other product as well. And so that's how I made a case, so to speak, for having a division like that, and said I can lead that division. And so I became the senior director for analytics. And over time, I guess I must have done a decent enough job. They decided to give me the title of VP. So I was the vice president of the Advanced Analytics R&D division for the last 10 years of my career. During the course of that, in addition to being an R&D development group, we realized that we could also help our customers with their problems. So even though we were not officially a consulting group, we got permission to form a small consulting type of group within our division who would help other divisions at SAS who were customer facing, and we could help them solve their problems. So if there were difficult optimization problems, they would come to us. So that's how we grew what we call the AI and OR ML Center of Excellence. So we had an opportunity to talk directly to customers, plus implement things into our software. So it was wonderful. Throughout all this, at SAS, the R&D division always maintained a close connection with academia. So I was able to talk to faculty members, and if they had sometimes we would work with them to help them with some grants proposals. We hired a lot of students, so we maintained the academic industry collaboration. So at the end of the day, coming back after like so many years in work, I can say, I got the best of both worlds. I was able to keep in touch with academia plus work in industry. And at end of 2018, I retired from SAS, and then I got pulled into more INFORMS activities. I never thought that I would even consider a position on the board, but here I am.
There you are. So you mentioned about academia and industry. Obviously we have a lot of first-time attendees. A lot of students are here, and sometimes I think people think it's an either or. And what advice do you have for someone that is going down their path and looking at these kind of two areas?
So it depends. There are lots of things which come into play when you're trying to make your decision between academia or industry. If you love teaching, if you love doing research, of course, academia is what you would think about. And a lot of faculty members would also like their students to go into academia. So I think you're kind of being trained for that. But you have to recognize that these days, even in industry, there is a lot of opportunity to do cutting edge research. And there's a lot of opportunity to do research and collaborate with academia. At the same time, there are a lot of faculty members who are doing consulting on single projects, or building startups of their own, and doing major projects, and even floating companies. So it doesn't have to be an either or. But even if you are in purely academic or purely industry positions, the symbiotic nature of the relationship between the two communities, I think, is very, very important, because what you learn, of course, in school gets used there, but also the research that gets published and the research that goes into any body of work has to get implemented in some fashion. That's where it sees, when the rubber hits the road, you need some innovative research that comes into play. So, going from academia to industry, there is that path. Then from industry to academia, there's also the possible the need for sometimes for some innovative research that pops up because of some real world problem that you may not have seen, or even if there's a problem that has been solved, the scale of the problems that are faced in industry put additional challenges on the types of algorithms that need to be built. So unless you know what is going on in the real world out there, you are kind of not getting the full picture of what is needed.
Right.
So that connection is very valuable.
So it's interesting. You touched on a lot there in regards to how to kind of assess your career, think about your career. So let's talk about Informs. And when you look at Informs, what are some of the activities or tools that Informs has that can help you make decisions like that in your career?
I think attending talks, both from an industry perspective. So if you're considering an industry career, then attend talks where you see people from companies, the R&D folks from the companies, or even the modelers who are presenting projects that they have worked on. Listen to what they do, listen to what they're talking about, and see if that interests you. Also see what domain you would be interested in. Optimization can be used in almost every domain, right? Optimization, machine learning, all of these. So try to figure out which domain you want, what kind of industry you want to work on. And so just attend as many topics as you can find, as many talks as you can find, read papers, talk to peers, talk to your seniors who have graduated and gone into industry or into academia, find out their expertise. And of course, your professors will give you a lot of good advice. They can see from your talent and how you have been in the class as to which career might be better for you. And sometimes, like it happened in my case, you don't have too many choices. You end up choosing something that you had not planned on, but then you can make it an optimal one by doing the best you can, right?
Right.
So, and you can succeed. So, wherever you go, the world is bright, I think, for OR, data science, analytics, all these fields. It's just growing, so you can figure out, make your path, choose whichever one seems right for you. If not, there are lots of opportunities to change as well. And these days, especially, it's not an either or situation.
I think that's really important, and I think it's really important for the audience to hear that, because we talk about this a lot. So my last question to you is about, when did Informs kind of really start to impact your career, and how do you kind of maneuver that?
So, Informs has been part of my professional home, like you heard Elena talk about at the opening as well. Think of it as your professional home. And it has been that for me since the beginning. My first Informs conference, at that time it was actually the ORSA conference, was even back when I was a student. So it might have been 1980 or 81, I don't even remember now. And I attended it, and over time you start meeting more and more people, and then you find that the more people you know, the more opportunities come your way to become a volunteer, because Informs is a society for members, and its strength comes from the membership, from the members who are part of Inform. And the staff cannot do everything. It's the members who provide a lot of the energy for the association. So you get involved, and I think the more involved you get, the stickiness is more as well. You get to know more people, and somehow I feel that the Informs community is one of the friendliest communities.
Very well,
So
it is.
so getting involved in all of these is important. Then, as I progressed in my career, I was lucky enough that at SAS in the R&D group, attending or being part of a professional organization was considered to be an important facet of an R&D person. So it was automatically, if we wanted to attend a conference, at least one or two conferences per year was a given. SAS paid for it, we came. And I remember at the height of attendance, we probably had something like 40 people from R&D attending Informs, and almost an equal number of people from the STAT group and other groups who attended ASA, the Statistical Association. So, and this is a message I would have for leaders of industry or companies, that if you are reading an R&D group with lots of scientists, data scientists, optimization experts, encourage them to attend and make it one of the requirements so that they see that as providing value, and you need to show them that you attending a conference, learning about new techniques keeps you at the cutting edge. And at the end of the day, it's a lifetime of learning, and you can continue to learn, gain mentors, etc. So being part of a professional organization should become an important aspect of anyone in it. And I'm talking about industry right here because that's my experience.
Right.
And I know, my husband being an academician, that for people who go into academia, it's automatically, they have to write journals, articles, and they attend meetings, they give presentations. So it's not such a big thing for them to be a member of association. But for industry, we have to make it an important criterion. And from wearing my Informs hat, what I would say is, if industry leaders have something that they would like Informs to provide value for them, please reach out to us. Please let us know what can we do to make Informs more valuable to your members.
Well, it's clear that your presidency has put a major imprint on Informs
I hope
and
so.
a legacy. And it has been, for me, it's been an honor just to share the time with you last
Thank
night
you.
and to certainly share this with you today. So thank you very much for your
Thanks,
service.
thanks, Brad. It was a pleasure chatting with you, and thanks to everybody who watches this. I hope that you all have a wonderful conference, if you're still at the conference, and have a great career. Wish you all the best.
Thank you.